broadcasting.
Are we in here? Can you hear me now? Apparently, we should not brew coffee on the same power strip that we run 4,000 watts of lighting on. So, apologies for that. Technical hurdles. Hopefully, we're back and happy now. 100% confident we are. It's just like a irking voice in the back of my head that I'm talking to no one, but maybe we're back.
Can you see it?
I think, yeah, we are broadcasting, recording. I'm just
okay.
Trying to get my chat windows open.
Maybe it's just because the chat's gone. Feeling alone.
Hate when this happens.
Yeah, that sucks.
Probably not gonna have too much fun.
We wanted a background image for each entry, and that would just be a custom page list on a home page template.
Right.
That custom page list would do infinite scrolling. Probably with we could investigate using that infinite scroll add-on, which worked off of a page list.
Mm-hmm.
Set up pagination at 20 entries or whatever, and then with that custom template, the pagination is hidden, and as you go down, it just loads more.
Pull a lot of stuff from the detail post.
And then we would have another area on the detail post, which may or may not be shown on the detail post, but would be shown on rollover of the post itself.
Right,
There's a little bit of
there's a little text overlay thing.
Little content over there. And that's all.
Cool.
Pretty. Yeah, that's a nice example because it's like totally doable. Probably it would be doable without doing a lot of code touching either. I mean, you'd have to build your theme, but like.
Cool. Well, that's how we would do that. Thank you for the URL. We really want to do that every week. I think it's a valuable service that we provide.
Yeah.
Especially when less valuable. It's still awesome, I imagine. Cool. So you've got your PRB list printed.
I do.
How are you feeling about things, Matt? Are you desperately bringing up windows and stuff?
I am.
All right.
Sweet.
So maybe we can talk about something else for a minute.
Well, I think I'm almost.
Everything we talk
there.
about is dependent upon that.
Matt gets a little stressed on Friday morning.
He's the glue that holds it together.
He is. You can tell he's happy about it too. There you go. Okay.
All right. The next theme, I think, is also by Telacqua, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. Neutrino? Photograph in the background and use
Beautiful ladies?
Yeah.
Is that the trend?
Well, no.
The emerging
no,
trend
that's not
that you're
that should be an emerging trend. No,
Feels like an emerging
this is
trend.
yeah. See here, for example, just kind of overlays nav elements and things on top of
There we go.
simple stuff.
I love the background photo thing.
Yeah,
I think the whole
It's
web should
nice.
look that way.
it's very nice.
Less
It's-
chrome, more photos.
Yeah,
This is a great thing.
yeah, it works. You know, it's very kind of translucent, transparent.
Space.
Yep. Lots cool.
Chicks in space. No?
Flying through the air.
Nice work,
It's
Telacqua.
got a video on there. That's cool. And the next theme is an e-commerce theme. This is by Steph Hyder, I think. This is called Prophetic Threads. And this is kind of a nice, very elegant theme. It comes with some custom templates. or custom styling at least for e-commerce elements.
Nice.
So it'll take a little bit of setup, I think, to make it look right. I think you need to like make sure that your product lists are using certain templates and things like that. But as you can see, it's got a bunch of really nice elements for getting the product slider. That I don't know if that's a built-in thing or if that is using an add-on that is also available in the marketplace. It might be. So
well, her themes do a really good job of skinning other stuff as well.
Yeah,
if you're
totally.
using e-commerce, it'll provide templates for that as well. So spend some time actually looking through her docs and reading the description, because often you're getting a whole lot more than you might expect, but you're going to have to do a little bit of tinkering to make it work.
Totally. Yeah, totally. It's a nice theme. It's got some nice elements to it. And finally, the last theme is by JB1. This is called Explode.
Explode!
And this theme takes a little bit of setup, basically because it's kind of Ajax-y in its presentation. Basically, you set up detail pages, and then they all get rendered through the home page. And the best way to explain this is to just start clicking around on those elements.
What?
Yeah. And it's got a background image that loads from the page itself.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So see, it's nice.
Explode.
It reminds me a bit of the Clearview theme. I mean, it's clearly its own beast, but the whole fade-in photograph. It's very. This would be really nice for like a restaurant website.
All right, so if you hit that X, does it explode again?
That it does.
The X in the menu corner.
Ah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Boom!
Booyah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It once I figured out how to get the content in there, it worked like a charm.
All built with Flash, right?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. No.
No Flash. Yeah, so
Nice.
nice work, Jamie.
Good stuff.
It's cool. It's a very unique theme. We got a couple social networking add-ons. The first one is called Social Share Privacy, which sounds confusing, but this is cool. Basically, there is a jQuery plugin that I was not aware of that a little while ago, Facebook got some flack for having their like buttons on when you went to sites. And if you're logged into Facebook, they sort of track which sites that you're going to.
The man
The man.
is doing it to me again.
And people didn't like that. So
I don't like it.
what
Where's
this,
that button?
what this does is it doesn't activate those buttons until you click on them, and it puts a little toggly switch next to them in order to turn the buttons on. So that privacy-conscious webmasters can embed these buttons instead of regular Facebook buttons, Facebook recommend or like buttons, and people who want to use them click the little thing first before having to turn them on.
I see.
So it lets people be a little more.
It's Facebook-like for Silk Road.
Yeah,
Alright.
they can be a little. So then you click the tweet button. So and it's really nice. I mean,
it's nicely done.
yeah, it's very nicely done. It's very nicely done. And
parade off thing.
yeah, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. So nice work for that stuff. And the next add-on is a blogging add-on. This is called Guest Blogger. This is by 12345J, I think. And what this does is lets you. Is that who it's by, Matt? Sorry.
Let's see. Yes, it is.
Cool. What this lets you do is provide a sort of form submission interface on the front end of your site. And when you submit a blog post, it adds the blog post and just sets it to not have an approved version, and then emails the owner of the site. So it lets people submit blog posts and add these approved, so you can have guest bloggers do that kind of stuff, and it works with different blog add-ons.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
It works out of the box with just the stuff that's built into concrete5, but I believe it works with some other ones too.
Flushing out the extensive blog category in our marketplace.
Yeah, totally. So that's nice. We have a few multimedia add-ons. The first one is before and after image slider. So this is an add-on by Lucas Anderson, who basically this add-on lets you upload two images of the same dimensions, and you can slide something back and forth on the image to see the before and after effects. So like I could see like a makeup site might want this with like, you know, before and after, like a car,
the wrinkles fall away.
Yeah, a restoration, you know, of a room or, you know, something like that. There's all kinds of applications for it. This is definitely not it.
No, this is just this website. It's
I don't know why it's called. It does look like it's called before and after image slider.
I bet you that's just a link to a site.
Here we go.
There you go. So there's before.
And then Conan O'Brien turns into that.
He has a funny background.
Nice. That actually worked. That's
Really
nice
cool.
work. Yeah. So those are 2 images you upload through the edit interface, and then you set some parameters, and you can slide them.
Cool.
Yeah. So nice work. The next image gallery that we've got going on is called Image/Clothing Switcher, and this lets you kind of display thumbnails along with a little with a detail image for something like an e-commerce style problem. So I can imagine wanting to add this to a t-shirt detail page in e-commerce, and then that would work really nice because you know, you could you got a little zoom effect too to the thing. So you could, you know, add this to a sidebar of a product detail page, and then just use regular customer choices to choose which shirt you want. But then on the right hand side, you could be confident that people could actually see the green before they chose it. That type of thing.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that is very much in the I don't know, delivering on the spirits behind our initial idea behind e-commerce. We would build a simple framework that would take care of the, you know, kind of the checkout and the major shipping and tax type framework, and then people could extend it as they needed to, and you could really get the site that you wanted in an a la carte fashion, only paying for the bits you wanted.
Totally.
It's nice to see people making those bits.
Totally. And the next add-on is called YouTube Gallery. This is kind of similar to the Vimeo Gallery that we approved last week, and this is just a way to display a whole swath of YouTube videos and load one in detail on top of it.
Nice.
Really do like have a similar motif to some of our promotion efforts. So nice work. Those are some good multimedia add-ons. Moving right along, we are over halfway done. We had a lot this week.
Busy.
We have a few add-ons from the navigation and content perspective. So the first one is called Block Quoter. This is just a way to set up a quote with some link backs and stuff from your site back to another site. So nothing tremendously difficult about this, but provides a nicer, more structured interface for dealing with this type of content. And if you find yourself adding this type of stuff to stories a lot, which a lot of sites do when they want to call out quotes and things like that, a nicely styled version of this add-on would be probably pretty useful.
Nice. It's important to attribute your content to who made it.
That's right. That's correct. Moving along, we have Calendar Nav. This is just an alternate method of presenting pages. So you add this calendar to a sidebar of a page, and you click through to a search interface that shows all of the pages that have a public date of that.
So it uses a public date.
Yes. Cool. So you can change it. You can do whatever.
So you probably have like a date and a time. You're not going to get a range or recurring events or anything.
No. This is like a blog style navigation type of deal.
Okay.
Yeah. The next add-on is probably the best named add-on of any that is on this week. This is called iPod Menu. And the reason it's not iPod Menu is because somebody thought that was probably not the best thing to name.
Probably a bad call.
That's probably smart. So a similar sounding name is in the works. This basically just is it starts out as one level deep and lets you cycle on through.
Oh, nice.
But it also lets you cycle through just in that one little content element by going next and back, which is kind of how it got the iPod name, I think. Kind of like the original iPods that let you do the column.
Make you wish your computer had a scroll thing on it.
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Scroll wheel.
Exactly. And you can see some of the options there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, many skins.
Skin it up.
Yeah. I think that's the jQuery UI.
Pretty.
Yeah. And finally, in this category, we have a pop menu.
A what?
Pop menu.
Oh,
the best way to do that is probably just to go and view it interactively in the demo. And maybe there is no interactive.
It's huge.
Basically, this is just you add the pages. You control exactly what lives in this nav and where it links to, and then as you roll over these things, they pop up with more information. So just kind of a more interactive, animated way to display your header nav, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and it also works really well on the footer page too. Yeah, I could see, and the little icon too.
Nice.
I can see actually putting that fixed at the bottom of the page would be kind of cool, and floating in front of content. Something like that.
Little tombstones popping up from your footer. I like the way that the little round icon moves on its own.
Yeah, totally. That's cool. Like a little more accelerated. Yeah, that's cool.
Nice. Well played, sir.
Nice. Finally, we have a couple more advanced add-ons that were added and approved this week. The first one's called Recycle Bin. And this is basically something we've talked about doing for a while but haven't had a chance to do. This lets you, whenever you delete a page in concrete5, it will move that page into a separate spot in your dashboard and let you reinstate it later if you choose to do so.
Nice.
So this is takes some of the worry out of dealing with deletion.
Yep.
And you can also set it up. This is kind of cool. There's a job that you can run periodically that will clean stuff after 30 days, for example.
Oh, that's smart.
So you can, you don't end up with 4,000
trash.
Yeah.
Nice. Still on our to-do list for 5.5, but
but
very much at the bottom. So nice to have this there, and probably has a long life as an add-on for 5.4 before, anyways.
Yeah. And finally, we have Ecommerce Express. And this is by JV1, who I think won the Karma Prize for add-on stuff this week. It was well deserved. I think he has at least like 3 or 4 add-ons this week.
Busy.
Or add-ons and themes. Ecommerce Express is just a sort of simpler way of dealing with the e-commerce problem. So there's fewer options to configure. There's still a lot of flexibility if you in the type of stuff you can track. It's all kind of a block-based approach. Works with money bookers and PayPal, I think. There's a basic shipping model, the cart, and the ability to do quantities and customer options.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice work. And if that's the type of stuff that you need and you don't need to mess around with as much options as the full e-commerce add-on gives you, this will be a totally workable solution. And
there you go.
yeah, it's a nice, quick way to set up an e-commerce site. And that is it.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Nice job. Thank you. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Cool.
Yeah, we cleaned out some of the DRB this week.
Good. Well, we'll continue to try to do what we can to stay on top of that. Righty out. So I think we're right. We got through most of the news. I think we're ready to talk about 5.5. Are there any other questions before we get into what we've been working on with the new interface and stuff?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat room right now, but feel free to post one.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it. And I guess what we'll do is we'll kind of rehash what we talked about last week for people who may have missed that quickly. We'll get into some other stuff that we've been working on since, and then we'll just kind of see where the Q's take the A's. So let's start right in, and I'll just kind of quickly take you through what we said before. Fire it up there, Matt. Yeah. So we've changed the install around, so you can actually do a one-click install just by changing the proper config files to have the proper values. You can just run concrete5, install from the command line, if you will. You can also have a package, packaged up, we're calling those pre-built starting point sites that so take the site the way you like it, export it as I want this to be a starting point, gives you a package that you can choose on install. We think it's going to be really valuable for people who are trying to do kind of like a one-click website for dentist type thing. It's a request we've heard a lot, so we just put some infrastructure in there to do it. I can also see in the big pictures making it easier for us to do demos of add-ons or install add-ons on our own trial sites to play with. So not the most impressive screenshot on Earth, but nonetheless very cool. Moving right ahead. And if anyone has questions on the stuff as I go, stick them in the chat window, and we'll come back periodically and answer them in detail. The next shot here, welcome to concrete5. When you install concrete5, unless your starting point has dramatically changed this stuff, you will see a page that looks very much like this, where we give you additional information about how concrete5 can work well for you. And we showed this last week. We have 4 main silos here, kind of information for site owners, information for developers, information for designers, and information for kind of the agency owner type. I believe we have some additional screenshots for that actual developers tour. Do you have those fired up, Matt, or am I making you jump around too much?
The developers tour?
That's the one that Andy sent to you right before.
Yeah, it looks like when we lost our power, those got wiped off my
All right, well, I'll talk about something else, and you see if you can find those.
Yeah, I'll get those fired up.
Hi, my name is Franz. Why don't you stick the other screenshot up there, and I'll talk about that while you dig around your file system. Yes, I can talk about this for some time. So the toolbar has changed in 5.5 pretty dramatically. You can see a couple of things in this screenshot right off the bat. The dashboard button is has a big drop down that is coming down, a big mega menu style drop down. Whoa, that is we're dying. Shows you everything. We're okay. Shows you everything that you need to get to in the dashboard. You can hide some of the detail pages that you don't really need to see necessarily from here. Some of the more kind of granular settings pages you don't really need to jump to.
Yeah, this particular menu is in a bit of flux at the moment, but then you can definitely see 90%.
Get a sense. Yes, we're kind of rearranging things within here, but it's a reasonably strongly styled mega menu drop down that takes you to the good parts of the dashboard very quickly, if you will. The other thing that you can see in this comp is that, or screenshot, or it's not even a comp, is there is an editing button as opposed to exit edit mode, and with no kind of lit state. There's now, that button has changed to just edit versus editing. When you are editing, it is highlighted green, and we've also pulled out all of the icons that used to show up just in edit mode. When you went into edit mode, you would get properties, design, versions, yada yada, up across the top. Move, delete. Now all that stuff exists in a drop down under editing. And in fact, Matt, I think we have another shot of that, don't we?
Yeah, I believe we do.
Maybe you can move to the next one while you dance around. Nope.
Not that one.
Got another one? Next one over?
This one?
Yeah, we're going to come back to the one you just showed us.
Okay.
So here we are. We're no longer in edit mode. We're just clicking edit, and you can see there's another mega menu style drop down. And the stuff that you used to have to go into edit mode and then click on the main bar to get to is just part of that drop down. So if you are just navigating through the site and you're like, whoa, I need to change the custom attributes on this page right away, it should be excluded from the nav, you can jump right into the properties to get to custom attributes. You don't have to return in, I guess, what, 3 clicks into one and a half, and that type of thing.
Then no waiting.
No waiting.
Much less.
Click, boom, you're in. And then you hit save, and it's going to just save a version for you, and you're out. You can also see when you're editing, you get a little explanation of what the last version was, and those exit or save, preview or publish buttons are built into that drop down. So more of the stuff that you're kind of doing from the same spot is actually happening in the same spot, and we think that will make a lot of sense to people. The other thing you can see going on in this screenshot is there's a little blue bar underneath the editing toolbar. You only actually get that when your mouse is on the main bar or on the blue bar. It's a slide down, and that shows you 2 things. On the right, it shows you every page that you've been to in the order you went to it. So a Hansel and Gretel style breadcrumb, not a hierarchy breadcrumb. On the left, kind of hidden underneath that drop down, is what essentially amounts to bookmarks. And any menu in the dashboard now, not menu, any page in the dashboard has a little star in the header, and you can click that and you'll bookmark it. So if you're the type of person who always wants to be able to jump to the sitemap, or maybe you manage a really active community, you always want to be able to jump to add user, you can bookmark those pages and always just be able to get to them in 1 click the way you know how. Jump back to that last comp. or screenshot, excuse me. The other main awesome thing about the new toolbar is the intelligent search. Intelligent search. So this is very much cribbed from Spotlight from the Mac. I don't remember it was called Searchlight or whatever. Spotlight. But you start typing in here, and after a certain number of characters, it starts searching. It searches things locally and via remote. It does so in a way that if it can't connect remote, it won't die. But first it searches your dashboard and your installed blocks and kind of everything that you have in your local install. But then it also searches help posts from the how-to section on concrete5.org, and it searches the marketplace. So, if you start typing e-commerce, you're going to find e-commerce add-ons, you're going to find e-commerce if it's installed, you're going to find anything that might be helpful to you. Our experience has been that an awful lot of people find concrete5 through their web host. They're not coming to concrete5.org because they went to open source CMS and chose concrete5 from other open source CMSs. They're finding it because someone told them it's a great one-click web setup installer kind of deal. And so their experience really starts and often ends with the actual CMS. They never go to the community. So while it's been really awesome that we redesigned our community to be pretty this year, I think at least half of our audience never even sees it. So a lot of the features that we're kind of adding in here aren't really dramatic, hey, we rethought the wheel entirely features, but really just kind of polishing a lot of this stuff that exists already, trying to connect people to the information that they're looking for but don't know how to find, and really kind of taking our time to do that in a graceful way. In that vein, let's go to the screenshots you were bringing up before. These are just kind of, they're still in progress, but they give you a decent sense, snaps of what the developer tour wizard pages would look like. So I showed you this page first, and if you were to click, I want to learn more about developing applications with concrete5, you would go and do something that felt like this. Now each of these pages would have a nice little swipe effect. So as you roll over, I don't think we have that comped, but as you roll over on the right, you would get a little gradient and an arrow. You click it and swipe to the next page. And these aren't, we're still tweaking the copy and parts of the design of this, but it should give you a decent sense as to how we're heading. So we've kind of spent some time thinking about what are the key points that we would want to get across to new developers. This one is built to be extended, and we're talking about the override structure and things like that. You see people kind of asking a lot in the forums over and over again. Moving right along. There's a cute one. You can start small and build something big later. I think concrete5 does a particularly exquisite job at that when a lot of other platforms do not. I think that, but I think it's true. What do you got? Forging right ahead. Nice. Built good stuff. So showing off the various
finest ingredients.
The finest ingredients known to man. jQuery and MySQL. Yeah, I think this actually is pretty strong for a lot of people. The learning curve is downward, and if you already know jQuery, it's really good to know that's built right in. I guess I could if I wanted to count the number of forum posts about how do I get jQuery to work in concrete5? Like, dude, it's right there already.
Well, and at this point, I'd say I write jQuery. I don't write JavaScript.
Yeah.
I mean, like the amount of just the pain that it takes out of working with JavaScript is just kind of ridiculous.
So yeah, just kind of throwing in, making it clear the stuff that we chose I think will help when new developers experience concrete5 for the first time. And one more you got? Easy training, happy clients. When we were asking people, this is kind of like the first thing that developers, strangely enough, offer about why they would choose concrete5 over something else is just the training experience, that last meeting that you have when you're actually delivering the site and you're trying to get that second half payment out of the client, and they've been waiting on you with nothing but faith in the occasional comp, and now you go to show them the site, and with concrete5, If you do your job right, it's just so easy to use that they're going into it with a ream of paper and ready to spend 5 hours doing training, and you're leaving early for lunch because all you got to do is go to a page and start editing it, and it just feels natural. So it doesn't take a Harvard MBA to tell you that it's awfully nice to have happy clients. They pay you well and come back for more interesting work. So we thought that was important to get across. So there we're doing it with little men's room people. So there you go. There are some of the tour wizards. Technically, the tour wizard content will all be served off of one of our servers. So that first page with the 4 silos is built into the core and something that you could customize as part of the starting point. So if you really do want to white label Concrete5 and say, well, I can do a better job of explaining this, or I don't want to explain it at all. I want to just make this page, thank you for installing Cement 6. Bugger off. You could do that. But if you don't, it'll actually go and hit our site and pull those pages back as you need them. So when we find the inevitable typo, or Lego sues us for making a slide that implies that our stuff looks like Lego, we will be able to quickly pull that off and update that without having to do releases to Concrete5, which is good. So that was all that. I'm really excited about those pages, and we've got several of those tours figured out. We're working on a couple of more. I think by the time we are out of beta by the end of November here, we're going to be just fine on all that content. I think it's going to really help. We have some other stuff to show.
Got a few questions if you want to take them, or do you want to wait?
We can take a pause and then get into the last one.
Idea.
Okay.
Good idea.
Got a few of them here. This is from AG House H. Not sure how to pronounce that, but will the change to full jQuery UI instead of the custom dialoguing allow for easier front-end skinning for e-commerce?
If you don't mind changing the back end, to be honest, we haven't. The jQuery UI dialog is kind of challenging for e-commerce to the point where we've kind of kicked around the idea of going to a more lightweight dialog class just for the e-commerce cart, just because the e-commerce dialog is really the only downer of switching to the jQuery UI dialog, because it requires you having jQuery UI installed or running on each page that you want the cart to be accessible from. Whereas before we didn't have to, we could just run our own slightly lighter dialog class. So we're kind of still kicking that around. If we do use it, yes, there will be it'll be much more kind of uniform, and it will use the jQuery UI style sheets. Regardless, whatever class comes out of whatever dialog class we end up using for e-commerce with 5.5, there will be the skinning will be easier.
Okay, cool. We have another question. Find this here. Will anything change in matters of advanced permissions immediately workable, or do I need to make certain checks and changes? And that's from TGFNL.
We're not changing the way advanced permissions work in 5.5. We do have plans to change that probably in 5.2 or 3 or something. That'll probably happen, I don't know, early or middle of next year. What we would be doing when we do change advanced permissions is breaking the admin role into we're just getting rid of admin and making it very specific. You can see design, you can see permissions, you can see this and this and that. Right now, admin kind of works as a catch-all at a page level. Yeah. So we'd make that more granular. We wanted to change the UI on the block areas and the block detail permissions. I actually could see some of that starting to happen in 5.5 just because we're going to have to touch it. It looks kind of funky, but I don't know how far we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I think basically the roles there are right. It's just labeling, like, we have.
We're going to move that. So we're going to switch what was down the left and what was.
We're going to switch the axis. We were going to change right to edit, things like that. Basic labeling stuff.
Make them a little more approachable.
Yeah. So we had all that kind of in the advanced permissions cleanup Google Doc somewhere. We also. We are talking about in the dashboard with 5.5 having a single page with all of the role permissions on them. Right, because right now we have kind of, over the years, we have added more and more kind of, what do we call it, like flag-based permission?
Yeah.
For the
Yeah,
dashboard
for, like,
stuff. I want
view
these users
sitemap.
to have files or sitemap.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little challenging. They're still kicking some of that around. The file permissions are not just, there's like 6 different, there's a lot to those.
Yeah.
They're not small.
Right.
So putting them all on one page.
Yeah, I could still see them on different pages. I guess.
But they need to be clumped in one.
Yeah, you'd be able to get to them easier. I know people have complained that, like, dude, I have to like go dig under users. I have to go dig in the sitemap, and like, why are these permissions pages?
Yeah, well,
not
we are
in settings.
We're moving all the So basically, all permissions for pages are on pages. All permissions for blocks are in the detailed blocks the way they are. But then all those roles, those flag-based permissions, they're all going to be in one spot.
All in one spot. So that might make things a little easier.
Yeah. Easier to discover.
The only other thing that we've talked about here is that isn't really kind of spec'd on our radar in the near future is rethinking the way permissions work as a whole to be to not always be inclusive, but to have more potential to be exclusive and that kind of thing.
Yeah, right now you can't show something just to guests.
Right, and that can be kind of annoying.
It is annoying. It's definitely annoying.
It was a decent assumption when we made it, but like what we're talking about is right now when concrete5 is wondering if you have the rights to do something, it looks to see if any of the groups you are in has the rights to do it. But there's no way to, without, I mean, if you want to go change a custom template or a theme, you can do this, but there's no way to, through the interface, say, I want to show this block to this group, but not that group. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. There really ought to be, there needs to be guest, registered users, groups, and then everyone being what guest is today. So most things would be guests only, because there's no...
Yeah, I can see it doing it by adding more groups, or I can see it doing it by adding a more complicated interface that lets you really do more of a Boolean permissions build. But we haven't really talked about this yet, by the way.
Guests and registered.
Yeah, I want to show this to these people, but those people, but not if, if you're in A/B testing group A, but not in A/B testing group B, then you get this one. I could see that interface being pretty unpleasant, but I could also see the right client really wanting it, and often,
it is pretty limiting. I mean, that there was just something the other day where you can get around it, but you have to figure out some other interesting.
I always burns with the login blocks.
Yeah, that was what
like I want to put like a welcome, but then if you're already logged in, I'd rather if you're logged in, I want a welcome block. If you're not, I want the the login form. Yeah, good luck.
And what we end up doing is just hacking whatever page template it is to display a certain area for logged in, and that works. But you'd like to be able to do that just through the UI.
Maybe be nicer. So yeah, that's something that if the right client came along and wanted to help fund the development of that, we'd be eager to add to the core, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility that would happen next year.
Yeah,
I think that's probably about it on permissions. What else you got, Matt?
We got a couple more questions.
Okay.
We have one. We're going to jump around a little bit here. But we got one from...
We have audio troubles?
I think audio's doing okay.
I can...
From Beebs93, will C5 use any search engines to power the search block, or will it default to the normal page list or index database search model?
It uses like search now through MySQL, and that's what it's going to default to. You can, if you don't mind modifying the controller, you can make it use MySQL full text if you don't mind messing around with MySQL's full text index settings, because the only way we've ever gotten that to return decent results is by tuning it. And then other than that, there's, you probably have to go a different block approach for getting it.
Use Google.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay, can the admin user be copied along with the rights that it has?
Oh, no, there's always going to be one root admin user. You can make additional people and put them in an admin group and define all sorts of things that the administrator group can do. But much like Unix, there is always got to be a root user that sidesteps permissions and fixes your broken site.
Now that said, I don't think this wasn't always the case, but I don't believe there's anything in the app that the admin user can do that properly set up other user could not do.
Yeah.
I think we have, like, there used to be things where it's
There's a lot
like,
of things.
only admin user can remove packages, but now with role-based permissions,
Yeah.
I believe there is nothing you can set up user to do everything the admin user can do.
Cool. What else?
Okay,
If I'm
here
wrong, let me know.
Here NT asks, will you actually expose the join type in groups?
I don't know what that means.
Oh god, that's something we added for school bills back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
day. That is
Groups
not
not- yeah,
likely.
right.
It was kind of an undocumented feature that we added
That's an Easter egg.
as an Easter egg.
I could see us, if we ever did try to
We would
solve
need
that
a way to solve it.
inclusive, exclusive group problem, or permission problem, we would probably add hierarchy to groups. Would not shock me if groups could be typed and have a hierarchy and that kind of stuff. Not saying this happened anytime soon. I can feel Andy panicking next to me. But there have been times where typing groups or having a group that would own another group sounds like a really great solution to a problem. An expensive problem, but a problem. What else you got? We got some more screenshots.
We do. We have one more question from
Okay.
Jay Steele if you guys want to take that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. He wants to know perhaps the ability to have a per user or group setting for tiny MCE.
Oh, like your toolbars? What toolbars you want on? Not system wide right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I could see that being.
Awesome.
I'd be interested in figuring out a way to extend the content block to make that into a really great add-on. So, like, some way to make the content block pull that data and render the right set of stuff, but leave that interface for, as a free add-on for people who need it, because how many possible.
Well, I just wonder how deep you would have to touch the core to do that. But yeah, no, I think that would be a nice thing for people to be able to have. I could certainly see limiting certain types of users to not have as much in there would be a smart call. So, okay.
Jump into some screenshots.
Let's show the rest of the screenshots, and we'll come back and do some more Q&A. So if there's any good ones that we missed, you'll have a chance to ask us again then. That was great. So we got some screenshots from the in-site marketplace experience. So here you are viewing the e-commerce add-on from within your own site. So you can get here a number of different ways. You could browse more add-ons from your ad block interface. You could just type e-commerce into the intelligent search and click enter. You would get to this is the e-commerce detail page, and we're kind of combining the detail page with the list view.
If you actually do intelligent search to locate e-commerce, or you find it some other way, you don't have the little browser thing on the bottom. You only have the detail view.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are browsing add-ons through your more add-ons interface, you get that little 3. You get the little search interface.
See more. So you can search, you can get more down there. There's a little paging interface. As you page through, it just kind of cycles the content up top. So easy for you to shop the marketplace in a much more information heavy and friendly way than what we have now.
Yeah,
kind of a prototype.
The screenshots cycle through automatically.
That's right.
If there are long descriptions, there's a more link that when you click will show the entire description in the same view.
Just like your iPhone kind of collapse it down.
There's a quote from a recent review up there. There's the total number of ratings. There's a view more in marketplace.
I mean, we are still assuming that people will eventually get to the marketplace. So we're doing things like just taking out one review and sticking that in there, the nice kind of pull quote style. But we are making it so you could click buy.
Yep.
And that would put it into a cart right there. You no longer will that bring up a new window to concrete5.org that you don't understand. But that will actually log you in through an iframe, stick it in a cart, and you can check out through there.
Yep, and it will assign it automatically to the site where you came from.
That is pretty cool. When you check out, it just says return to your site, and it dumps you on the install page. So let's look at the next comp there a minute. These are screenshots. These are not comps.
Yes, this is working.
These are real. So here's the same idea, but with the theme. And again, this just kind of falls flat when you're just looking at a static image.
Yeah.
But those that big picture with the page curl on it cycles through all the screenshots that are available for the theme. which is nice. It's a very visceral way to browse themes. It works very well.
Yeah, what you can't see with this is if you mouse over these guys, you can click to any of those three by clicking on them in the bottom. But there's also a large arrow set if you mouse over the entire content section, and you can page through right there in the page, whether it's in the dashboard or through an overlay. And if you get to the third one and click next, it will load the next page of 3.
Right.
And you can search right from in there, and just, you search for e-commerce and you get 10 add-ons that are returned. You can browse through
Next
them
and back
just
your
next
way right
and
through it.
backing.
Pretty cool.
Backing? That's not a
It's a new word.
Back
Alright, next one.
Backteen.
What is this? This is the add functionality page as it exists today.
Yep.
It's actually the first time I've seen this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
looks great, dude.
yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah. There's a few things happening here. First, at the top, you can see that there are updates available. This will take you into an update screen, which we'll see in a second. And you will also see that you're still seeing, and I will see soon. No, go back.
Go back.
That's the updates?
Nope, I don't. I want
Back to 3? Okay.
Yes.
And I need to see the larger screen.
Yeah. See that. Hey!
Gotcha.
Oh
That one.
no. Yay!
And, okay, so at the top, and some of this stuff is still subject to slight change.
All of this is subject to dramatic change.
Yeah. At the top, you can see the currently installed add-ons, and if you click at it, you'll be able to get to where you can today. And then underneath it, there's an awaiting installation list. And this list grabs all add-ons that are locally available and those that are available for download on your project page, and just puts them in one list. There's a download button or an install button for each one, and there's one unified list that is a little less confusing than having to manage 2 lists like we used to have. And I could potentially see us flipping the order of these 2 things too.
Yeah.
Putting awaiting installation at the top.
Well, that gets you a sense. And what's the next one?
This is the update screen. So when you click updates from either your dashboard home or your add functionality home, you can see all of the updates that you have. There's a couple cool new things here. In addition to a much nicer looking UI, there's you can see the current version and the new version. You can see the change log.
I think that'll be very helpful.
This is populated by the version history page underneath each add-on. It just grabs the content of it, so we're not choosing whether to display it based on a version or something like that. But people are already managing that stuff, and as you can see, you know which version it is, and you can start to see which versions are there.
And maybe you're a few versions out of date.
Yeah,
you
totally.
See several
And-
sets of versions.
And much like the marketplace overlay, there's a more information so that you can actually get it if it's a long change.
Nice.
And then you can get more information from by clicking on it and going to the community, or you can download the update.
Cool. Next shot.
This is just another internal screenshot that those of you familiar with Concrete5. It's just kind of a cool contrast between the way the dashboard looks now versus the way it used to. This is just the uninstall package page, and just everything is going to look so much more tighter in design in this particular thing.
Thank you, Twitter Bootstrap.
Yes. Moving right along.
That might be it.
Might be it.
Yeah, I think that's it for screenshots today. So, very exciting. We have high hopes for people being able to actually shop for add-ons and themes from within their own site. It's going to make a huge difference. Any new questions or questions that we glazed over, so you wanted to show the rest of that?
Let's see, we got one from J. Steele, and he was wondering if there is any way to do nested file sets sometime in the future.
No.
No.
I mean, maybe in the future. In the future, anything can happen. It gets kind of confusing. But you can probably create most of what you would want to do with a nested file set by just having different sets.
Yeah. It's probably, yeah.
Yeah, you just order them.
So, you just have
Headers, dark headers
Right.
lights.
Have a header set, have a dark set, and put them in both, or you could have a headers dash dark set.
That's what we need.
You can do that as well.
Yeah.
There's a fair amount of flexibility there. The only downer with kind of doing hierarchy to sets is then you get into these weird like exceptions around inheritance. Like, can something exist if both in a parent set and a child set?
Yeah, the whole set display order for files in the thing like is a real head scratcher when you
Yeah,
start doing that.
which display order?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see if there was a real case that we ran into that we couldn't solve by just making some extra sets, perhaps. But I don't see it as a burning problem today. Mr. Waters.
I think that wraps up the questions we have right now.
All right. Well, it is. It has been well over an hour, I believe. So, yeah, that's what we're showing today. We've got some other exciting stuff to show next week, and our list is, well, at least our list of stuff that we need to do before we stick it into alpha is getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's good.
The
other
post
side
alpha is
getting
getting
longer.
longer.
So, but that's good for you. It's bad for us. So yeah, we are on schedule with 5.5. Getting very excited here. Should have this thing reasonably demoable in a couple of weeks, and get this thing out in November as planned.
Yeah.
So thank you, and we will see you again next week.